Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today to learn more about the AmeriCorps VISTA program and the concept paper process. We're joined today by several speakers that will help provide an overview of the VISTA program, the application process and timeline, as well as the benefits and responsibilities of the program. My name is Stephanie Reitzman. I'm a proud VISTA alum and currently serve as the Director of Program Impact and Operations for VISTA. Now I'll go ahead and turn it over to my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa McNeely, and I'm the Program Impact Specialist with VISTA.
Hi, everyone. This is April Durant. I serve as the CNCS Idaho State Program Director. Stephanie, I'll hand it back to you so we can review the webinar agenda.
Great. Thanks, April. So, what exactly are we discussing today? Well, today we're going to focus on giving you the basic information that you need to decide if AmeriCorps VISTA is a good fit to help your organization build capacity and tackle poverty in the community. We'll take a broad look at CNCS and all of our national service programs. We'll dig a little bit deeper into the VISTA program so that you can learn what it's all about. We'll review the important role VISTA members play in addition to the roles and responsibilities of our sponsoring organizations. We'll talk about how your organization can apply for and access VISTA resources. And lastly, we'll review the many available resources to assist you with project development and the application process. We're excited to share this information with you today to help you better understand national service and how we may be able to work together to advance community-driven solutions. So as you heard, we all have the pleasure of working for the Corporation for National and Community Service. So what is the Corporation for National and Community Service, or CNCS, as you'll often hear us call it? CNCS is the federal agency for service and volunteering. We engage millions of Americans in results-driven service to solve problems, expand opportunity, and strengthen communities. We provide assistance to thousands of nonprofit, faith-based, and community organizations and serve in more than 50,000 locations across the country. Our partners and grantees include many organizations you already know, such as Habitat for Humanity, Teach for America, City Year, the American Red Cross, and the United Way. We also partner with many lesser-known organizations and public agencies throughout the country. We're focused on meeting pressing national and local needs, from helping students graduate high school to combating the opioid crisis, responding to disasters, to supporting veterans and military families. We address these needs and more through our programs, both AmeriCorps and Senior Corps. All of our programs share something in common, a public-private partnership. Last year, our grantees leveraged more than $1 billion in outside resources. That's more than our federal appropriations. All this to increase community impact and to stretch the federal dollar. Quite impressive. Now I'll go into more detail about each program, though I do encourage you to visit our website to learn more. So first we have Senior Corps, and Senior Corps connects adults age 55 and better with the people and organizations in the community that need them most. Senior Corps includes senior companions, foster grandparents, and RSVP volunteers, which all help people serve in their communities. Last year, 220,000 Senior Corps volunteers served 74 million hours. They tutored and mentored more than 267,000 children, helped 840,000 seniors live independently, in addition to meeting other critical needs across the country. If you take a look at the slide, you'll see a brief description of each program here. And again, you're welcome to check out our website to learn more. Next, we'll take a look at our AmeriCorps programs. So AmeriCorps engages 75,000 Americans, young, old, and everywhere in between, in helping kids learn to read and stay in school, bringing life and opportunity back to forgotten neighborhoods, and mobilizing millions of volunteers to multiply their impact. AmeriCorps members serve with thousands of organizations and typically provide intensive, sustained service to address a local community need. They're also force multipliers, recruiting and managing nearly 2 million additional volunteers to boost the impact of the organizations they serve. AmeriCorps is often seen as a pathway to education and employment. Similar to an apprenticeship, AmeriCorps members earn while they serve and learn, by gaining valuable career skills and experience that prepares them for work. The skills they gain are both specific to their service and general skills of leadership, creativity, and problem solving that we know all employers look for. 3 programs fall under this AmeriCorps umbrella. You'll see those listed here on the slide. First, we have AmeriCorps State and National, which supports a wide range of local service programs that engage thousands of Americans in intensive community service. Members are typically age 17 and older. They can serve full-time or part-time, and they're able to provide what we call direct service. Next, you'll see on the screen we have our National Civilian Community Corps, also known as NCCC. NCCC strengthens communities and develops leaders through direct team-based service. To serve in this program, individuals must be between the ages of 18 to 24, and they serve on a full-time basis. Members live and work in a team-based environment and travel throughout a region to provide intense direct service to the community. And last, you'll see Volunteers in Service to America, or VISTA. This program also falls under the AmeriCorps umbrella, and we're going to discuss this program much more over the next few slides. So before we dive into what VISTA is all about, let's go ahead and review some key definitions and some terms you'll hear throughout today's presentation and as you work to design your VISTA project. These will help you understand both our structure as well as the VISTA program. So first, you'll hear us reference project or VISTA project, and this refers to a set of VISTA activities that are operated and overseen by a project sponsor. Well, what's a project sponsor? A VISTA project sponsor, or sponsoring organization, is a public agency or private nonprofit organization that is responsible for operating and overseeing a VISTA project. In this case, a public agency may be federal, state, local, or tribal government. A VISTA project director, or project director, is a staff member of the sponsor who has been assigned responsibility for the management of the VISTA project. Project directors are typically responsible for executing all aspects of the project as outlined by the sponsor. The supervisor is an individual who directly supervises a VISTA member. This can be at the project level or at the site level. Project sponsors are responsible for ensuring all member supervisors are trained. It's important to note that some project directors also serve as supervisors. CNCS provides a virtual supervisor training for supervisors. And the last term we'll reference, but not shown here on the slide, is the CNCS State Office, or CSO. CNCS has field staff working throughout the country. Our state offices help develop, support, and facilitate VISTA projects throughout their life cycle and are a valuable resource when applying to become a VISTA sponsor. So the VISTA program, created back in the 60s, has a very long and rich history. 4 core principles really make this program unique in what we call the national service world. So these core principles continue to guide our work today, as well as the work of our sponsoring organizations and our members. The first principle refers to VISTA's anti-poverty mission. All VISTA projects have a goal to move individuals and communities out of poverty. We focus on supporting solutions that break the cycle of poverty, rather than making poverty more tolerable through short-term services. The VISTA program also believes in empowering communities by engaging residents and community members in the planning, development, and implementation of a project. A VISTA project should be designed and implemented with a community, not for a community. The VISTA program also focuses on building capacity of communities and local organizations. To build capacity, VISTA members strengthen, expand, and increase the reach of anti-poverty organizations and programs by working on projects in coordination with staff, volunteers, and community members. To put it simply, they help organizations do more for more people. The fourth principle of VISTA focuses on creating sustainable solutions. Each VISTA project really is developed with the end in mind. VISTA members do not provide short-term stopgap service. Instead, they're focused on lasting solutions. VISTA members develop systems, build relationships, and increase knowledge, which they transfer to the organization and the community to sustain the project long after the member's service. Okay, so we've covered VISTA's core principles. We have the anti-poverty mission, community empowerment, capacity building, and sustainability. So these 4 items really are at the heart of every single VISTA project. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into what this means and how these principles set us apart from other streams of service. Staying true to our principles, our members focus on capacity building and what we call indirect service as opposed to direct service. Capacity building refers to tasks and activities intended to expand or improve a program. Because our members focus on indirect service, they rarely, if ever, work one-on-one with the beneficiary population. On the other hand, however, Senior Corps or AmeriCorps State and National members providing direct service do work one-on-one with beneficiaries. I like to give folks an example to illustrate this point. So let's say that we have an AmeriCorps State and National program focused on increasing the graduation rate. We'd likely find AmeriCorps members working directly with students in a mentoring or tutoring capacity and sitting down with those students to provide assistance. However, that would not be the case with a VISTA project. Instead, the VISTA members would be behind the scenes building a volunteer recruitment and management protocol to increase the number of community volunteers, or they may be raising funds and in-kind resources, all to allow more students to be served. They may be building partnerships and increasing outreach and awareness of the program, designing materials and protocols that can be used by the organization and the community long after their service ends. So as you can see, both kinds of service are an important part of any community-driven solution. It's important, though, that you understand this key difference to determine if VISTA is the right stream of service for your organization. So again, VISTA members do not typically engage in indirect service. Excuse me, let me say that again. VISTA members typically do not engage in direct service, that is working one-on-one with the beneficiaries. Instead, as we've discussed here today, VISTA members really do focus on having that lasting impact in the community and the organizations they serve. So we have a better understanding of the VISTA program. Let's go ahead and take a look at our annual impact. In any given year, VISTA engages over 8,500 members in service at more than 4,500 different service locations or sites across the country. We're still tallying our 2018 results, but this slide gives you a good look at our accomplishments in fiscal year 2017. As a result of VISTA member service, sponsoring organizations and communities received over $206 million in cash and in-kind resources to further support anti-poverty efforts. Additionally, VISTA members leveraged 800,000 volunteers to further build community and organizational capacity. So next, let's drill down a little bit further to see what that impact looks like on the ground. So the Fond du Lac Reservation in Minnesota has seen great results with their VISTA project. A currently serving VISTA member was part of a team that helped write a grant to engage youth, battle opioid addiction, and to preserve Native culture. Thanks in part to this member's contributions, the team was awarded nearly $320,000 from the USDA. The Tribal Community College will serve as the recipient of this grant to further support community efforts. The member continues to serve with the community to identify existing and untapped resources to combat the opioid epidemic and to further promote wellness in the community. We're going to take a look at another project example, a slightly larger project. So the United Way is a national intermediary, and since 2017, it has placed VISTA members in 22 United Way organizations throughout the country as part of their economic mobility project. VISTA members with this project increased the financial literacy of over 1,400 individuals and provided another 400 individuals with the training and skills needed to find jobs. And the results don't stop there. As you know, community work requires commitment and the help of many people to achieve success. To continue multiplying their efforts throughout their communities, the VISTA members recruited 2,100 volunteers and have leveraged $1.3 million in cash and in-kind resources. As a result of VISTA service, there's been substantial lasting impact. Hopefully you can see now how a VISTA member may be able to impact your community and organization. I'll go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Melissa, who's going to talk a little bit more about the actual VISTA members themselves and more about what your role would be as a sponsor. Melissa?
Thank you, Stephanie. We've gone into great detail about CNCS, the numerous programs that are making an amazing impact throughout the country, and the VISTA program in particular. Now that you've received background information about the VISTA program, I'll focus on the most important resource, our VISTA members. In this portion of the presentation, I'll go over eligibility, community activities, and corresponding benefits. VISTA service is a 12-month full-time commitment whereby VISTA members engage in indirect service to build capacity and sustainability in poverty alleviation programs. There are a few things that you should know about these dedicated members. VISTAs are members. They are not employees, interns, or volunteers of or with the sponsoring organization. VISTAs serve at their sponsoring agency. They do not work there. And VISTAs receive a modest living allowance that aligns with the community that they are serving. So who is really cut out to be a VISTA member? While the typical image of an AmeriCorps VISTA member is a highly skilled, recent college graduate, a significant percentage of members are baby boomers who bring a wide array of professional and life experiences to their VISTA assignments. These different life perspectives and experiences provide a unique lens from which each member views the world and tackles issues at the community level. VISTA members pursue their assignments for a variety of reasons, ranging from wanting to make a difference in a community and eliminate poverty to learning new career skills and networking. Some other facts about VISTA members are on the slide. In addition to VISTA members, we also have VISTA leaders doing great work throughout the country. These are individuals that have already served as a VISTA member for a year or more. The leaders help recruit, mentor, train, coordinate report writing, and generally support teams of at least 8 VISTAs. They can guide data collection and interpret data, but not complete the reporting activities themselves. While they cannot supervise members, staff, or volunteers, leaders can coordinate, facilitate, and support the efforts of VISTAs. Now that you know who VISTAs and VISTA leaders are, let's take a look at what they actually do. So what do VISTA members do? Their impact in the communities they serve is invaluable. VISTAs provide capacity building to organizations and projects and work to empower communities and lift them out of poverty. This is done in many different ways, based on the sponsor organization, the assignment, the community's needs, and their own creativity. Members are key in building and maintaining partnerships and collaborating with organizations and stakeholders. They create programs, including volunteer management systems and trainings, and also participate in various aspects of development and fundraising. VISTAs do all of this while living at the same level as the communities that they serve. As you can see, VISTA members and leaders participate in a wide array of different activities within an organization and in their community. While there are countless unique projects and activities that are perfect for VISTA members, there are definitely some that are prohibited, and we'll take a look at those in the next slide. On the slide, you can see some of the activities that VISTA members cannot partake in. Prior to service, VISTA members must complete the Terms and Conditions course online, which specifies what's provided to members and allowed during VISTA service. If a member violates one of the terms or conditions, the supervisor must contact their CNCS state office staff immediately. The violations have different repercussions, and for the protection of the project and any other members on board, it's critical to act promptly. The VISTA program is focused solely on serving American communities, and members cannot work on international projects. Engaging in religious instruction, conducting worship services, or engaging in any form of proselytizing during service time is also prohibited. There are some prohibited political activities to be aware of too. A VISTA cannot engage in partisan political activities while in service, such as fundraising for a partisan political campaign at any time, or identifying oneself as a VISTA while engaging in partisan political activities. Along those same lines, VISTAs cannot be involved in voter registration as part of their VISTA service. In general, VISTAs cannot engage in or support political activity, religious activity, lobbying, or union organizing as part of their service or while perceived to be serving as a VISTA. Members cannot supplant staff by performing duties that should be done or are typically done by paid staff or contractors. The role of VISTA is building capacity to bring communities out of poverty and members do not typically perform direct service activities except as needed in limited circumstances, such as for training purposes. Now that we've covered the do's and don'ts of VISTA service, let's review some of the member benefits. If you become a VISTA sponsor, you'll want to know all of the benefits available to VISTA members so that you can support them and inform candidates during the recruitment process. In addition to a living allowance, non-competitive hiring eligibility for federal jobs, and an end-of-service award, there are many other benefits that aren't listed, including student loan forbearance, not to mention the fact that only AmeriCorps VISTA service time counts towards federal retirement. At this point, you should feel like you have a good sense of who VISTA members are, their work in the community, and corresponding benefits. Now I'll review some of the eligibility requirements and responsibilities associated with becoming a VISTA sponsor so that you can begin thinking about whether our program aligns with your work. If you're selected as a sponsor, you will join VISTA sponsors from across the nation in the mission of fighting poverty in your community. The VISTA project director or supervisor at your organization will assign responsibilities as appropriate within the project, and you'll ensure that your project is in compliance with VISTA policies and procedures. Depending on how your project is structured, you may be the main point of contact for members and site supervisors. The first and most basic program model type is a single site sponsor. This refers to one agency hosting a VISTA project at one site. The VISTA supervisor and members are all in the same location. An intermediary is a VISTA sponsoring organization that helps provide CNCS resources to other eligible organizations that are oftentimes small and may not have the capacity to access such resources. The intermediary is an organization that has the capacity to develop and support VISTA sites across a wide geographic area or among a group of organizations that address a common need. They provide administrative services, technical support, training, and oversight to the subsites. The way that an intermediary model works is that the intermediary organization can partner with another organization to place VISTA members, or the intermediary organization may place VISTAs at their own chapter or affiliate site. Projects sometimes start as single-site models and then grow over time to become an intermediary to further serve and benefit their community. There are numerous responsibilities the sponsor undertakes to help make the VISTA experience positive and meaningful for all of its members. Some of the most important responsibilities involve managing the VISTA members. As a sponsor, you'd be responsible for drafting catchy opportunity listings to announce your position and attract top quality candidates. In addition, you'd recruit, screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for service. The recruitment and placement of VISTA members will take place on our web-based VISTA portal. VISTA has developed social media graphics, messages, and other promotional items to assist you with these recruitment and awareness efforts. Strong sponsors also provide an in-depth on-site orientation and training to all incoming VISTA members at the beginning of their service and conduct ongoing training, which includes professional development opportunities. And it's probably no surprise that the best projects offer day-to-day supervision and support to their members. This includes introducing and orienting the VISTA into the community, confirming that members have the space, supplies, and equipment necessary to carry out their service, providing reasonable accommodations to members who request them based on different abilities, and ensuring that members' activities are in line with their VISTA assignment description. Effective project management is also an essential part of a successful VISTA project and member experience. There are numerous phases and activities related to planning, implementing, and executing a project, but today I'll touch upon three main aspects that sponsoring organizations should focus on. First off, be sure to develop your proposed project with community members. They understand the community's needs and wishes and bring a key perspective in the planning, implementation, and evaluation of your activities. The community's guidance, support, and buy-in are instrumental in the project's success. Performance measures are paramount to our work and help to keep us on track. Don't worry, you can develop the performance measures with your state office. The office can help you refine your ideas and ensure that the community and VISTA needs are being met. The performance measures inform the reporting that you'll complete, and the information you'll provide in these reports demonstrates your project's impact and resource management. It also allows us to provide you with better technical assistance. There are several reports that will help you manage your project and inform VISTA headquarters about the project status, successes, and needed improvements. The Project Progress Reports, or PPRs, are completed on a quarterly basis for the first year of your project, and each report should build upon the previous one. After your second year, PPRs are typically biannual, and a transition to that reporting frequency is at the discretion of the state office. The PPR information will be part of your project's official record and will be used to evaluate a project's continuation. VISTA has developed PPR guidance to assist you with the report writing. If you're a project with multiple sites, you'll need to establish a way to aggregate information between members serving at those sites and provide a comprehensive report. The VISTA Progress Report Supplement, or VPRS, is an annual report that tracks demographic information for your project. It's typically due late in the calendar year and is based on our agency's fiscal year, which is October 1st through September 30th. To adhere to this time frame, you'll likely have to track information with your members on a monthly basis to accurately submit this report. You can find a link to an informational webinar and instructions on how to complete this report in the VISTA Sponsor Resource Guide, which is made available to all sponsors. As a sponsor, you'll learn about cost sharing and its benefits to your program. Cost share is a strategy in which the sponsoring organization pays the living allowance for one or more of its AmeriCorps VISTA members. It is strongly encouraged and is an effective way for the VISTA program to reach more local communities across the nation. In a cost share partnership, the sponsoring organization is invoiced by CNCS for the associated member living allowance costs. You can see several benefits on this slide, which include increasing the number of VISTAs that your agency receives, expanding VISTA resources across the country, showing commitment to the project, and a potential way to extend the life of a VISTA project. Now that I've provided an overview of the VISTA program model, the sponsoring organization's responsibilities, and the cost share partnership, I'll turn over the presentation to my colleague, April.
Thanks, Melissa. Up to this point, we've given you an overview of the Corporation for National and Community Service, the VISTA program, member roles and benefits, and the sponsor responsibilities. At this time, I'll provide a high-level overview of the VISTA application process, the steps that an organization takes to submit the concept paper and application to be considered for that sponsoring opportunity. But first, we want to highlight some recent changes to the concept paper process. Those of you who have worked with us in the past know that deadlines varied from state to state. Beginning in 2019, we will all be operating on a more regular and consistent timeline for the concept paper review process. We'll now engage in quarterly reviews of all concept papers. We'll discuss those dates in a moment so you can plan accordingly. You are still encouraged to reach out to your local CNCS contact with questions or for technical assistance during the application process. All right, so there are two steps to the VISTA program application process. First, the interested organization submits a concept paper. CNCS reviews the concept paper to gain a better understanding of the proposed project and to determine if the activities and the organization are in alignment with VISTA's programming priorities. The concept paper submission deadline for the second quarter of this year is January 14th. We will review the entire timeline later in this presentation. If CNCS approves the concept paper, the organization is invited to submit a full application. CNCS is available to provide technical assistance and guidance during the writing of both the concept paper and the full application. The Domestic Volunteer Service Act of 1973 is the federal statute which guides the VISTA program. Each concept paper submitted must adhere to the statute. In addition, the paper must align with our priorities and principles, address poverty in the community, and empower community members to participate in project development and implementation. Remember to review the concept paper instructions on our nationalservice.gov website to obtain information on submitting a concept paper. In addition, the Request for Concept Papers notice also provides a comprehensive overview of what CNCS is looking for when reviewing the concept paper submissions. This slide includes a few characteristics of a strong concept paper. You'll see many of these are reflected in the core principles of VISTA we discussed earlier. So concept paper submission. You will submit your concept paper in our eGrant system. Please note that this is a different system than the grants.gov. So what does eGrants look like, and what are the basics that you will need in order to submit a concept paper? If you haven't already, you will need to create an eGrants account and follow the steps on the slide. In order to move through the process, you will need your EIN number and the organization contact information. Once you create an account and log in, you will go to the lower left side of the screen and click on Concept Paper, which is highlighted on the slide. In the next window, you will click the FY 2019 AmeriCorps VISTA State New NOFA. You will be asked to anticipate the length of the project period. Most projects typically last between 3 and 5 years. Be sure to select the focus areas and objectives that correspond with your proposed project. You'll also include the geographic areas that will be affected by your project. If you are a former grantee, there are a few additional questions that you will also need to answer. In the next section of the concept paper, it will ask applicants to complete 4 narrative questions. The narrative questions will allow you to explain your proposed project and the community that will benefit in depth. In the needs section, you will explain the unmet poverty-related community needs that you propose to address with the project. Under Strengthening Communities, you should describe how your proposed project aims to complement or expand the current efforts taking place in the community to address your identified community need. The organizational capability question is looking for you to detail your organization's capacity to manage a federal national service program. And lastly, those organizations that are interested in becoming intermediaries will answer the intermediary justification question. Please do not copy and paste the question into the response box. You should write your responses in WordPad to avoid extra characters from appearing in your submission. This will also allow you to conduct spell check on your work. The green check marks denote that you have answered and submitted the response to that question. If the arrow icon is red, it means the question has not yet been answered and submitted. Again, be sure to utilize the VISTA program guidance and concept paper instructions when writing the concept paper. Now that we have reviewed the eGrant system and the required fields to be completed when submitting a concept paper, let's take a look at the key dates in the request for concept paper process. There are several deadlines to keep in mind related to submitting a concept paper. VISTA headquarters will be conducting another webinar on June 6, 2019 for organizations interested in learning about becoming a sponsor. The concept paper due dates for the remainder of the year are listed in the 3rd row in the table. The 2nd quarter concept papers are due on January 14th. We understand that this is a short turnaround time. However, please note that most completed concept papers are just a few pages in length. The state office will conduct a review and notify applicants of their decision. If approved, the applicant is invited to submit a full application. The timeline is a standalone document and is also included in the request for concept papers notice. Both of these documents are in the handout pod on the screen and on our website. Once you've submitted the concept paper, the state office will acknowledge receipt within 2 weeks via email. If VISTA approves your concept paper, the 4 narrative responses included in the concept paper will be pre-populated into your full application. Full applications are also submitted in eGrants. If your application is accepted, your state office can assist you in the development of the service opportunity listing to begin recruitment efforts. At that time, the organization will also develop a VISTA assignment description, or what we call the VAD. The VAD is a required position description developed for each VISTA member. It is also a powerful guide for planning and implementing most major responsibilities, including selecting a VISTA candidate, guiding and supporting members, and assessing performance. As part of starting your project, VISTA also provides virtual trainings for supervisors to help get them acquainted with roles and responsibilities. Now that I've gone over the application process, I'll review some resources to help you along the way. So in closing out this webinar, we'd like to point out some resources that will assist you in determining whether your organization would like to apply for VISTA resources. Remember, your state office is your main point of contact to provide guidance and technical assistance when writing your concept paper and developing your project. So as you'll see, some examples on the screen, we have more than enough resources and tools that will help your organization get more than acquainted with VISTA and decide whether you would like to apply for those VISTA resources. One of the most important things that you will need to know is how to contact your state office. You can follow the link listed on the slide and find the email, or you can simply type the two-letter state abbreviation followed by @cns.gov. For example, ca@cns.gov would go to the state office in California, and those state office staff would be available to answer questions and provide technical assistance. We have included the link to the RFCP notice and the concept paper instructions. Both will provide information about VISTA and guidance on what to include in the concept paper. To supplement all the information that we have provided you today, you may be interested in watching a few videos to give you historical background information and provide context about the VISTA program. You can find these videos on the VISTA YouTube channel and on our website at nationalservice.gov. This concludes our presentation. We will now move to the question and answer portion, and Melissa will review some of those questions we received during the webinar. So I'll hand it off to you, Melissa.
Thank you, April. So the first question I'll ask is Stephanie. What is the difference between a CNCS state office request for concept papers versus the national request for concept papers?
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. So as I believe April alluded to earlier, we have revised the request for concept paper process. So in the past, each state hosted their own request for concept papers. But again, we've revised the process to make it a little more efficient. So all state offices will be engaging in this new RFCP review on a quarterly basis. So we've developed a timeline as well as a notice, and you can find those on our national website. But I would say the key difference is that you'll find that all state offices will be engaging in the concept paper review process at consistent times throughout the year, and that'll be done on a quarterly basis.
And what should organizations focus on when writing the concept paper?
Yeah, so as we covered in the first part of the webinar, we spent a lot of time discussing VISTA's 4 key principles. So those are things that folks are really going to be looking for when reviewing the concept papers. So again, we're looking for that anti-poverty focus. We're looking to see the community empowerment and engagement piece. We also want to make sure that the proposed activities really are focused on capacity building and also creating those sustainable solutions to poverty. So again, we want to make sure that anti-poverty work is tied into the project and really reflected in that concept paper.
Great. Can you tell us what percentage of concept papers get approved, Stephanie?
Yeah, over the last several years, I would say it's been about 90% of submitted concept papers end up turning into projects.
Thank you. I'll ask a few questions of you, April. Are organizations allowed to request more than one VISTA member?
Absolutely. We encourage all applicants to apply for more than one VISTA member. Having more than one VISTA member can increase the social support members have. Additionally, members can share resources, ideas, work as a team with one another, and it often results in even better results for the organization. Receiving more than one VISTA member for your project will depend on the state office allocations and available resources at that time. And remember that cost share is a really great way to increase the size of a VISTA project, especially when resources may be limited.
Okay. And what's the minimum number of members that an agency should request?
VISTA doesn't recommend a specific minimum number, but we do know when VISTAs are placed at the same organization and support one another and work collaboratively, they often have a better VISTA year experience. And often organizations might need one VISTA member and then may choose to work under a larger intermediary organization, which would provide technical assistance, resources, and support. So we would encourage you to contact your state office to discuss your programming needs. If you're interested in just one or two members, they may know of an intermediary, or they may have received some concept papers from organizations similar to yours. It can be really beneficial to have a group of organizations working together to sponsor a VISTA project.
Can you tell us the starting age of a VISTA? Can college students be considered for a VISTA role?
Absolutely. A VISTA member must be 18 years of age, and there's no upper age limit to serve. College students can be considered for VISTA service, but keeping in mind that VISTA member service is a full-time commitment, and the VISTA position has to come first. But for example, if somebody's taking online courses or classes in the evening or a lunchtime class or something along those lines, they absolutely would be a great candidate.
Thanks, April. Back to you, Stephanie. Can an organization address more than one programming priority, for example, economic opportunity and healthy futures, in a single concept paper and have the VISTA work on both?
Yes, thanks, Melissa. An organization can address several programming priorities in one proposed concept paper. Again, as we mentioned earlier, we just want to make sure that organizations are very clear about that anti-poverty tie and the capacity building links. But assuming those are all clearly spelled out, that'd be just fine.
Okay. Do projects categorized under the Healthy Futures focus area have to focus on opioid prevention?
No, it's not mandatory that a Healthy Futures project focus on opioid prevention. So the VISTA program guidance, which is available on the nationalservice.gov website, provides more details about each of the programming priorities. So underneath the Healthy Futures focus area, VISTA has selected a couple of priorities there. We, of course, have access to health services, which includes prevention activities, and we also have access to nutritious food as a priority. So we know that there are often local community needs that also come up, and organizations are able to apply for resources to address those needs. You just want to be sure that you indicate in your concept paper how the project, again, addresses poverty, and then, of course, highlight the manner in which it will build capacity.
Thank you. So can a VISTA project cover more than one project if a single person could provide support for both?
It's really up to the organization to decide whether the VISTA member will have the bandwidth and the time needed to build capacity in several different projects. It's likely that these projects may be interwoven, and it may make a seamless transition between each of them. You do want to make sure, again, that you're just clearly describing those projects in the concept paper and the application, and of course that they're focusing on the core principles of VISTA. And this may be where it could be helpful to reach out to your state office as well to have that conversation about what may be an appropriate assignment for a VISTA member.
Thank you. April, does an organization with a multi-year project need to reapply each year, or do they automatically get a new VISTA member the following year?
An organization does not automatically get a new VISTA member each year. When submitting the concept paper and the application, applicants want to be sure to propose the totality of your project so that we understand how the project may evolve over the 3 to 5 years. For a multi-year project, the organization submits a yearly continuation applicant and will recruit additional VISTA members. It is not guaranteed that the organization will receive a continuation, since CNCS must determine if resources and funding are available, as well as determining if progress has been made on the project. VISTA projects, again, are typically 3 to 5 years.
Okay. And can you tell us who provides technical assistance to organizations? Will the organization always speak with the same person that's familiar with the project, or is the technical assistance and the resources provided more general in nature?
So organizations can reach out to CNCS state offices to receive more personalized technical assistance. We can't guarantee that you'll always speak with the same person, but they will be able to answer questions specific to your organization and your project. Additionally, we have numerous technical assistance materials available on our website.
Great. And Stephanie, what's the ideal ratio of VISTAs that are covered by CNCS and those cost shared by the site?
Yeah, well, we don't really have an ideal ratio of standard to cost share VISTA members. This often looks very different from project to project. So an organization's level of cost share participation is often based on numerous factors. May include kind of the geographic community that's being served, the organization size and their available resources, as well as the size of the project, our available resources at any given time, and other factors. We do understand, of course, that some organizations have more capacity to cost share, and we encourage those to do so. So while VISTA does not apply a standard cost share ratio to projects, we do have an annual cost share target of 23%. And this 23% really allows us to continue placing those 8,500 members that we discussed earlier while keeping us in line with our limited federal budget that we have.
Along those same lines, does cost sharing increase the likelihood of being selected as a VISTA sponsor?
So per our VISTA program regulations, cost share is not required, and so the inability to cost share cannot be the sole reason for rejecting an application. However, as you've heard us allude to a couple of times, CNCS, of course, does have limited resources, and availability of resources must always be considered prior to awarding a project. Cost sharing really helps us to maximize and to expand those resources that we have across the country.
Thank you. And lastly, is there an estimate on the approximate amount of time that an organization should dedicate to conduct reporting?
So again, this one can really vary on the size of the project, but we say that it will likely take approximately just a couple of hours to gather the data and then to compile it into a report and to get it into the eGrant system. So if the organization is collecting data from members on a monthly basis and has designed some member reporting systems, then the time burden can be reduced. It can be much streamlined. The reporting time can also vary, again, just depending on the size of the project and all of the data that needs to be collected and included. There may be a difference in the time commitment, again, between kind of a small single-site project versus an intermediary with many sites and members.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie and April, for those responses. And I'll hand it back to Stephanie to close out the presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. A big thanks to everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Melissa and April, for helping out as well. We hope you've all received enough information to help you determine if VISTA is a good fit for your organization. Again, we encourage you to log on to our website at nationalservice.gov. Where you can locate the request for concept papers notice, as well as the associated timeline that April referenced. So hopefully our state offices will be hearing from you soon, and we'll see concept papers coming in. Thanks a lot, and have a great day, everybody.